Remember we did the outside test, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So before you get into the cab, you need to ask the examiner to help you check your lights. All right. Now we're using this truck because the interior of this truck is exactly like the interior of the red truck. All right. So when you get in the truck, before you get in, you look at the examiner and say, "I need you to help me check the lights." Of course, he's going to agree. All right. He's going to go to the back of the truck. In order to turn the lights on, you need to turn this switch on till the power on the dash comes on. Alright? And then here's your headlight control. Turn your headlights on. He's going to be back there at the back of the truck. You're going to holler at him, "Parking lights!" He's going to give you a thumbs up. That's going to include your running lights, your ID lights, and your clearance lights. Alright?
And they automatically come on.
They automatically come on.
Okay.
Then you're going to put your foot on the brake. Brake lights. He's going to give you a thumbs up. Left turn signal, thumbs up. Right turn signal, thumbs up. Four-way flashers, thumbs up. And here's your four-way flasher switch right over here.
Okay.
All right? Then he's going to come to the front of the cab, and we're going to go through basically the same things again, with the exception of we're not going to do brake lights, we're going to do headlights. So we're going to say running lights. He's going to give you a thumbs up. Low beams, thumbs up. I'm going to turn my high beams on just like in a car. High beams, thumbs up. Left signal. Right signal. Four-way flashers. Alright? And once you're done with that, he's going to come get in the truck with you, and we're going to start the in-cab inspection. Alright?
Question.
Yep.
Is the high beams and low beams on the same stick it is in a car?
Yep, turn signal. Use your turn signal control just like in a car.
Okay.
Alright? So when he gets in the cab, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that seatbelt on. We need to do this in front of the examiner. Because when I put my seatbelt on, I'm going to make sure it's properly mount secure. My seatbelt's not cut or frayed. It latches and unlatches properly. We're going to start the truck using a safe start. That means we're going to make sure the truck's in neutral. We're going to push the clutch pedal to the floor, and we're going to crank our engine. Alright? Once the engine's cranked and we're going to start building up air pressure, we got some stuff to do before we worry about that. So let's inspect the inside of our truck. We're going to check our driver's side mirror, make sure it's properly adjusted. My windshield is clean, not cracked or broken. My windshield seal is in good condition, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. My windshield wipers are rubber to glass, not metal to glass. My passenger side mirror is properly adjusted. Now notice I didn't say anything about properly mounted secure, not bent, cracked, or broken, right? Because didn't we do that on the outside of the truck?
Yes.
All right, so we don't need to repeat that. So I do my passenger side mirror, and like a typewriter, I'm going to drop down and come all the way back across and work left to right. I'm going to check my four-way indicator lights to make sure they work. I'm going to check my oil pressure to make sure it's between 30 and 40. I'm going to check my temperature gauge to make sure it's rising as the truck warms up. I'm going to check my air pressure gauges to make sure they're rising. Normal operating pressure, 120 to 125. I'm going to check my fuel gauge to make sure it matches the fuel level I saw in the fuel tanks. I'm going to check my voltmeter to make sure it's reading between 13 and 14. Alright? So in the red truck, the voltmeter will not automatically come up on this dash. In order to get to the voltmeter, you're going to push this ESC button twice. Alright? Everybody with me on that?
Okay.
Alright? So we continue to work our way on across this dash. There's nothing else that needs to be inspected right now. So we're going to drop down, come all the way back across. In this truck, just like the red truck, none of these buttons need to be concerned about on a pre-trip inspection. So I come to my steering column and start working my way up. I'm going to check my left turn signal indicator. I'm going to check my right turn signal indicator. I'm going to check my high beam indicator. Now you may already know that those work because you just went through that, but where was the examiner?
Outside.
He did not see you do that, so we've got to make sure we tell him. Alright? So I've done that. I continue on up the steering column to my steering wheel. I'm going to check my city horn and my road horn. I'm going to continue across this steering wheel. I'm going to check my windshield wipers and my wiper fluid. Make sure that works. Alright? Then I'm going to come down and finish working my way across this dash. I'm going to come to my heat and defrost controls. I'm going to turn it to defrost. Make sure I've got air moving on the dash. Then I'm going to turn it to heat. Make sure I got air moving on the floor. And then I'm going to turn it back to air conditioning so we stay cool. If I work my way on across this dash, there's nothing else that needs to be inspected, all right? So everything that we've done completes the interior of the cab with the exception of the brake test. Now let's stop CDL testing and let's start talking about real pre-trip inspections. You need to inspect above your head to make sure there's nothing up here that's going to fall and hit you going down the road. Everything in this cab needs to be secured. Not on the CDL test, so don't worry about adding that in. You need to make sure that your floor is kept clean so that there's nothing that's going to roll up under your feet and impede your ability to drive the truck. You need to make sure that gear stick is in proper condition and that range selector works properly. My pedals are properly mounted, secured, and functioning as they should. All right? Those are things that you need to check in a real pre-trip inspection. But remember, for test purposes, above my head is not on the test. Anything in the floor is not on the test. The gear stick and the pedals, not on the test. So remember where we stopped, right here. All right, everybody good with that?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So what about these?
Not-
Up and down, we don't have to worry
Not
about
on the test, but I'll tell you what these are. This lowers the airbags on the back of the tractor for coupling and uncoupling the heavy trailers. All right. So if I hit that button, it's going to dump the airbags on the back of the truck, and the rear of the truck's going to sit down. All right. This button is for moving your sliding fifth wheel. If I needed to slide that fifth wheel back and forward, when I push that button down, the air will pull those pins in, and then we can slide that fifth wheel back and forth. All right. This is your four-wheel drive button. Interaxle differential lock is what it's called. When you're going down the road, only one axle on the back of the truck's doing all the pushing. If you get in sand, snow, loose gravel, mud, you always want to lock that differential in so that both axles are doing the work. Now that is not like a four-wheel drive pickup truck. If you get stuck, that probably ain't gonna get you out.
Oh,
All right? Okay, everybody good with that?
yes, sir.
So while we did all this pre-trip inspection inside the cab, my air pressure's now gotten up above 100 psi. I'm gonna build it on up a little bit. So your brake test is your parking brakes, your service brakes, leaks, alarms, and buttons. If I mess up on my parking brakes, I'm gonna lose a point. If I mess up on my service brakes, I'm gonna lose a point. If I mess up on any part of the LAB and I don't correct it on my own, you're gonna fail. All right? So when we get ready to do the brake test, we're gonna put the truck in first gear one time and we're gonna leave it there. That means you're gonna have to sit there and hold this clutch in. All right? So we're gonna do the parking brakes first. It does not matter which order you do the parking brakes in. So whatever button I push in is what I'm releasing. So I'm gonna release the trailer brakes and I'm gonna check my parking brakes on my tractor. I'm just gonna ease that clutch out nice and easy until I feel it tug. All right? Truck didn't roll. Y'all feel the tug?
Yeah.
Don't spin the tires. You don't need to let the clutch out that far. All right? So my tractor parking brakes are good. I'm gonna swap it. I'm gonna set my trailer brake and release my tractor brake. Now I'm checking the parking brakes on my trailer. Doesn't roll forward, we're good. Now we're gonna do the service brakes, which means we're gonna push both buttons in. Once both buttons are pushed in, we're gonna ease the clutch out and roll the truck forward, push the clutch back in and hit the brakes. The truck should stop, shouldn't pull left or right, no unusual noises. All right? So here's the setup. I'm already in first gear. Both my buttons are already pushed in. What I want to do now is shut the engine off. Release my clutch, turn the key back on. All right? You're my examiner. This is how you need to tell the examiner. I'm going to apply 90 pounds of pressure for 1 minute. I shouldn't lose any more than 4 psi. So I put my foot on the brake pedal. The examiner says your minute's up. All right? I tell the examiner I need to make sure my warning lights come on at or before 60 psi. So I start fanning that brake. My lights came on at 60. Now I tell the examiner I need to make sure these buttons pop out between 40 and 20. I continue to fan the brakes until I either run out of air or both the buttons pop out. Once both those buttons pop out, you take the key out, and you're done with your test.
It's saying simple enough.
Simple enough. So let's say that I'm going through that test, and this is just an example. I'm going through that test, and I tell the examiner I'm going to hold 90 pounds of pressure for 1 minute, and I shouldn't lose any more than 4 psi. Examiner says, all right, your minute's up. All right, I'm going to make sure my lights come on at or before 60, and I start fanning those brakes down, and that needle drops below 60 and the lights don't come on. Which means you forgot to do what?
Push in
Turn the key on. When you realize you forgot to turn the key on, you need to tell the examiner, I forgot to turn the key on. So he's going to give you two options at that point because you caught your own mistake. He's either going to let you start over and do it again, or he's going to get you to explain what you just did and why you should have done it, and then move on. All right? But you have to catch your own mistake. He's not going to catch it for you. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Everybody good with the end cab?
Yep.
What's the most important part of the end cab?
Loud.
The LAB. So if you recorded that, make sure that you watch it and you've got it memorized. All right?
Listen. Alarm.
Leaks, alarms, and buttons. All right, good? All right, pile out. Give me them last three.